Ladies and gentlemen, chess is a difficult endeavor. It's addicting, and it's not always rewarding, and boy is it tough to learn. Which is why people cheat. And yesterday I was playing live on stream, and I ran into a person who I thought was suspicious. And that person was ultimately banned. But I figured I'm not gonna let them get off easy. In this video, I went back in that individual's profile, and the person that they played before me was also cheating. So I'm gonna share with you 3 games. The first game is me versus the cheater, and the second and third games are what happens when a cheater plays another person who is cheating. The games are hilarious, and it just goes to show you who has the better chess bot when these bozos run into one another. Before I show you the games, a big shout out to today's sponsor, Incogni. Folks, it's 2023, and the world is more borderless and online than ever before. And while that's great for watching chess videos, it's not that great for protecting your personal data online. The Identity Theft Resource Center published that in the year 2021, there were 68% more data breaches than the year before. And beyond that, data brokers are literally buying and selling personal information of individuals online. The smallest inconvenience of this is you get targeted advertising while you're scrolling. But there are far greater inconveniences to this, and they can have some really negative consequences. But that's where Incogni comes in. Incogni will reach out to data brokers on your behalf and request your data removal. They will fight these folks for you, and they do it on an ongoing basis. And getting started is easy. It just takes 3 steps. Number 1, create an account and tell them whose data they'll be fighting to remove. Number 2, grant them the right to work for you and watch them go to work. And step 3, you sit back and watch. If any data broker has an objection, Incogni will battle it for you. You know the drill already, folks. If you want to get started with Incogni today, all you have to do is click the link in the description. The first 100 people to use the code Gotham will get 60% off their Incogni subscription. And if you're unsatisfied with Incogni, they offer a 30-day money-back guarantee. All right, let's get back to the video. So, I booted up a game on chess.com, and as you can see from the time usage, I was 25 seconds late to a 3-minute game, which is not recommended. However, I was confident myself. Now, the first thing that you can see here that looks suspicious is what? It's the fact that my opponent's got a Mittens profile photo. Mittens, of course, being the chess bot. Now, I thought, all right, that looks a little bit weird, and my opponent's rated 2700 with no title. So I clicked on my opponent's profile, and I saw that it was made pretty recently, something like 1 or 2 months ago, and it had a really big win rate. But that doesn't really tell me a whole lot of information, so let's see how the game is gonna go. Now, my opponent played a French defense, and in this position, any normal 2700 rated player plays this setup in some capacity. My opponent took. So I was like, what? That's not a move. Black just completely locks the center up, has no pressure on the center, and white is a bit better. Now, when I get paired against an individual who I am suspicious about, a couple of things happen. Sometimes they just don't cheat against me because they see that it's me. Sometimes they don't cheat in the opening. They just get a terrible position and then they start defending it. That's also another way, right? A lot of weird things happen with their move time. So in the early stages, my opponent was just immediately worse from the get-go. Like, playing very odd. I played Queen G4, immediately taking advantage of this. Now my opponent played King F8, and what a lot of cheaters will do is they will throw the evaluation very early in the game, because what that means is they have to play catch-up, and their accuracy score is already affected, so, you know, they think that they're going to game the algorithm. So I played Knight F3, my opponent played a move here that is just absolutely deranged, like no 2700 on the planet would play this move, and that move is Bishop takes C3. That is a crazy move. Why would you give up a bishop, your only active piece, and open up a full line of attack toward your own king? Well, because this is not a human at all. This is not a human whatsoever. Now my opponent goes here. I develop my bishop. I mean, just look at this position, right? This position is just absolutely incredible. Queen C7 back now. What? What is this? So what do I do here? I can castle. I decide I'm gonna go for glory, right? What does my opponent do? Plays a move on the other side of the board. B6. Now, of course, white is better, but there's no clear plan for a win. So I try to take as much space as possible. My opponent does this, and now I play Rook H3 with the intention of playing this. But here's the thing. Even if I'm a very good blitz player, which at this point is 2700, and I have a very good position, I'm still a human. And when met with really good defensive resistance, I will suffer, right? So my opponent goes Knight F5, and I rotate my queen. Now, this is already the start of an inaccuracy. Apparently here, I should just walk my king to G1 first. I go queen f4, setting up the idea of g4. Now, at this position, my opponent plays bishop to b7. Still completely not acknowledging my threats. I was like, what? What about g4? So I do everything right. Everything in this position seems to be going swimmingly. I'm actually playing like an engine because my opponent has given me such an early lead. But all of a sudden, it all changed. And this is what I'm saying. Cheaters sometimes will let you get out to an early lead, and suddenly the defensive measures start kicking in. Now, in this position, I should play this or this. I try to trade the knight off. My opponent drops back their knight to f5, and kind of phase 3 of cheating activates, which is not always playing the top engine move. It's not always going to be the top computer move. For example, the top computer move in this position at my depth of Stockfish is to play hg and then trade the queens, right? But they might be using a different engine, or they might be using a different depth, so they play knight e7, and I just keep trying to march forward with the move g6, all right? Now, as it turned out in this game, it looked like my opponent seemingly was trying to play the second line of the engine and the third line, not the first line. In this position, my opponent completely ignored what I was trying to do and played a5. I was like, a5? What on earth is a5? All right? And I thought, well, everything's going quite well. So I decided I'm going to walk my king to f1 now to get out of the way of all this. And I just had one inaccuracy, all right? Just one inaccuracy, which was walking my king out this way, because now my opponent can trade the bishop off, and I lose one of my kind of key attacking pieces, and things are sort of petering out. Instead of king f1, apparently I should have played rook g3 to continue to apply pressure. You cannot take queen f7. Like I said, my opponent let me get out to a lead. This is what they do sometimes, all right? And sometimes they lose games. Cheaters don't cheat necessarily every single game. So I thought, well, I'm going to play king f1. Now bishop a6. I'm like, all right, I'm going to trade the bishops, and I'm going to keep attacking. And as you can see, I made 2 inaccuracies in this game, and all of my advantage disappeared, which is sort of how it goes sometimes. My advantage is gone because of knight h4. By the way, I just want to draw your attention to something. My opponent just played bishop a6, right? I took on a6. The only move that my opponent has, considering my opponent's last move was a5, followed by trading the bishop, in this position, my opponent spent 8 seconds. 8 seconds on rook takes a6. What? What other move do you have, bro? You don't have another move. Now, rook a6, gf7. My opponent trades. And in this position, if you gave this situation on the board right now to any 2700 after knight h4, rook h4, you said, make a move, they would play knight f5 in 5 seconds. 3 seconds, knight f5. Replace the knight, hit the pawn, light squared blockade, blocking everything. And my opponent spends 16 seconds on that move with 50 seconds on the clock. What? So I move my rook out of the way. Here comes a4. All right? Trying to advance on the queen side a little bit. I play king g1, getting my king out of the way. Opponent infiltrates on the light squares, gets their rook out on f8. King walks out. Queen infiltrates. Queen takes h5. And g5 there. A nice little move, restricting me back. And here my opponent lost on time in this position. Actually, with 1.7 seconds on the clock, I disrespected this individual and sacrificed my queen because I knew that I would be winning on time. Now, I was suspicious, and I thought, well, maybe this person's not cheating. Maybe not, I don't know, right? But I was a little suspect. Anyway, I reported this person, and they were banned. All right, you could see there it says account closed. I don't determine who gets banned. But then I went through their profile. And the first thing that I saw was the game before the game against me. This dude played another guy, and they both got banned for cheating. This is incredible stuff. This is groundbreaking stuff. 2 cheaters going toe-to-toe. And then cheater 2 played another cheater a few games before that. This is incredible. We get 2 games of all the opponents getting banned. This is spectacular stuff. Now, this game was wild. So it started out with an Italian, and white played castles, which is an inaccurate move order. But like I said, cheaters have a variety of ways of cheating. Sometimes they don't cheat every game. Some games they only play on their own. Sometimes they only cheat after move 10. All right? Sometimes, right, like they don't cheat every game. They don't cheat every move. Knight e4 played, and this individual decides to go for a gambit. Now, keep in mind, cheater 1 does not know they're playing cheater 2. They just know that they're cheater 1. So white gets this position and is now going to kind of use the open space on the board to get the pawn back and make black feel the pressure. Black plays the top engine move, which is h6. Not developing a piece, nothing. h6. Queen d5 threatens mate. Black plays top engine move, queen f6. White plays rook to e1. Black plays d6. But okay, none of these moves are impressive, right? Black is just playing defensively, all right? None of these moves are impressive. That move was played in 1 second. This was played in 2 seconds. 1 second. 1 second, right? Black is playing very quickly. Now, in this position, white plays knight d4. What the? So if you take like this, I'm going to weaken your king, take this, and that's weak, right? So knight d4. So what is the only way for black to deal with all of this pressure? Oh, to blitz out the only move, which is knight d8 in 2 seconds. Volunteering your king to move, but defending b7. White plays not bishop takes d7, which is the top engine move, but the second line of the engine, f4, applying more pressure to the e5 pawn. But wait a minute, black now has c6 played in 2 seconds. The top engine move in 2 seconds. Wait, that's it. White is losing because queen and bishop are forked. No, fe5, top engine move. Counterattacking the queen. Black, seeing all this, doesn't take the queen or the pawn, bolts the queen out of the way in 2 seconds. 2 seconds spent on that move. Now the rook is hit, the queen is hanging, and the bishop is hanging. Surely the game is over. g3 by white. Now, only move, queen back to... What? Why didn't the queen just... Also in 3 seconds. What is happening? How is black finding all of these absurd defensive resources? Folks, it gets even crazier. White plays e6, top engine move. That loses a pawn 4 different ways. I know, but now you have check. Black plays queen f7, best move. White plays top engine move, bishop back to e2 to defend the queen. And black plays top engine move, g6. The queen bolts across the board. What are we even looking at? This is some sci-fi robotic nonsense. Black has 5 pawns on the 6th rank. Now, black starts lashing out. e5, attacking the knight. The knight moves back. Black activates the bishop on f5 and attacks the pawn. It's very awkward to defend this. So white pins the bishop to the queen. Black rotates the queen out of the way in 3 seconds. The best move once again. Bishop develops. Now, black has a couple of things that they can do here, right? Black can kick the queen out once again somehow. Black can centralize the knight. Black can develop the bishop and castle one way or another. No, black in 2 seconds plays the top engine move, which is just launch an attack from the current position. h5. Rook d1. Oh, yeah, tremendous. Bishop c2. Wait. Why didn't the computer play bishop c2 in this position? Ah, because it's not the top computer move, and if you play it now, I'll go rook e1. So I waited for you to go here, and now I'm going to take. And now I'm just going to go back. And remember how I played h5, which was clearly to play h4? Yeah, I'm not going to play h4. I'm playing this because now that's the top engine move. Okay, white plays c4. Yeah, black shuts that down real quick in 3 seconds with c5. Nope. White plays h4. Black activates the knight. And between these two things, where should black castle? Right? Where should black castle? Of course, you don't want to castle this way because you've already pushed the pawns and it's clear you want to attack your opponent and you've got some space here. And while the queen is close to you here, it obviously makes more sense to go this way because you've got all the support. So black castle short because that's the top engine move and black does that in 1 second. Bishop f3, bishop infiltrates on d3, that's also the top engine move. And white starts panicking, sacrificing material. By the way, king to h2 was the 3rd line of the engine. That's why white played it. Take, king g7. Is the king g7? Right. So you have a queen, knight, bishop, rook, and 7 pawns, but you move your king in 2 seconds because top engine move. Queen back to a4, a6. Knight infiltrates on d4, takes. And rook f5 brings the rook. And in this position, black delivers the kiss of death as the white position completely falls apart, g5. Pushing the pawns in front of the king that you castled that way because he was going to be safe. Bishop comes in. And black just crawls forward with queen e6 and white resigns or loses on time. Black played this game with an accuracy score of, I think, 98.6 the last time I checked. See, black is not what we call an intelligent cheater. Black cheated every move and played the top line of the engine every move. That's how, you know, that's like not, yeah, so black had a game 0-0-0-0. No inaccuracies, no mistakes, no misses, no blunders, 18 best moves. A bunch of great moves, bunch of excellent moves. Black did not make a single mistake. Black took a pawn and played every single defensive measure correctly, slingshotted the queen around the board, put 5 pawns on the 6th rank, and won the game. Terrific. Excellent stuff. So clearly cheater 2 is better than cheater number 1. All right? And that guy got revenge for me because I got pancaked by cheater 1. And cheater 1 is a slow cheater. Clearly really trying to be sophisticated. All right, as you can see here, the guy playing with the black pieces, literally every move. 2 seconds. 2, 2, 3, 5. Oh, 1, 2, 5, 3, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 1. Like, no move ever got more than 5 seconds spent on it. Not a single one. Just a super balanced, like, bot-like approach. Seriously, I think the longest this person ever spent on a move was 5 seconds. And that happened 3 times. Yeah, hilarious. So, cheater number 2 versus cheater number 3. Can cheater number 3 be the one to finish the rodeo? Well, this time we have this opening. And remember how last game, it's actually kind of hilarious. Last game, cheater number 2 played against cheater number 3, and this was the position. You remember this? It's actually kind of hilarious because this happens in this game, and black goes here. Knight d6. All right, still a move. Don't have to cheat every single move, and sometimes, you know, maybe you play your own opening moves. So, bishop d5. So the person playing with white, clearly not as sophisticated of a cheater, right? Couple hundred points lower, and we have Luxembourg versus Colombia. And white plays bishop d5, right? So slight inaccuracy according to the feedback over here. We have bishop e7, played in 1 second. White plays rook e1. Rook e1 is the best move. d3, best move. Bishop f6, best move. What even is bishop f6? Just defending the center, I guess. Now white plays bishop d2. Now bishop d2 is considered an inaccuracy. On a low depth, the computer shows this move. On a higher depth, the computer wants white to take the knight. All right? So white's computer that they're using, whether it's on their toaster or smartphone, is not as good as black's computer. Black, after bishop d2, plays knight d4, which is actually granted, according to this Stockfish, an inaccuracy label, but it's actually a pretty good move. Like, if you let the engine run, it actually thinks knight d4 is not bad. So clearly, whatever engine black is using to play in 1 second is still pretty good. White now plays the top engine move, which is knight e5. So what was black's idea? What was the bot's idea to lose this pawn? Well, the idea was to play c6, all right? Bishop goes to b3, and now black secures the bishop, and now is going to play knight f5. So it's an equal game. So who's going to win, bot 1 or bot 2? They are both making moves at identical speeds. So what happens when you've got 2 bots playing at the same speed? It's who's ever got the better bot, right? White plays knight g4, one of the top moves. Black plays bishop e7 in 1 second, one of the top moves, all right? Knight e2, undeveloping, top move. d5, top move. Knight, what? Knight e5? All right, that's not one of the top moves. Bishop d6 is the top move, though. And now knight g3 takes. All right, so black is a touch better. Point 2. f6, best move. Knight back to f3, black pins. As you can see, black's advantage is building. Rook a4. Whoa. Queen d7. Defending the bishop. And now, white makes a slight inaccuracy, which is knight e5. All right, white's bot decided, I'm going to play knight e5, and I'm going to force a big exchange. Both queens were hanging, so you couldn't take bishop takes d1, which obviously black's bot saw. And now we have the following position, and clearly, white's bot thought this move was going to trap the bishop. That's what white's bot thought. It thought, I'm going to trap the bishop. It was wrong. Because even though this happens, black's bot saw a little bit further, and now bishop c1 will escape, and bishop h6. And now black's bot is up 7 pawns to 6, and it will show us how to convert. By the way, they are dead even on time. I think black just paid for the premium version of the bot. Like, I think white's bot is 2,300, 2,400, and I think black's bot is like 2,800 or something. f4, mistake. Why? Because of that move. I don't know why. Bishop king f2. Bishop d2. Now black, look at this. If you have a dark squared bishop, black puts all the pawns on the light squares to complement. The bishop now rotates around, and black completely clamps down. Rook d8, rook d7, king f7. Every important piece in the black position is on a light square. And as you can see, white's bot is trying to trade into an endgame. Black's bot has already seen the entire future. Pawn takes, pawn takes. Every move that black is playing is top engine line. The king now walks to the other side of the board. The bishop has been removed. And now a5. And that's it. We're coming in. We're coming in. Notice how this blob completely shut down white's play. But we are still dead even on time. Actually, in fact, black's bot has played a little bit. Look at this. You think any human on the planet here doesn't take this pawn? You know what the top engine move here is after g4? Taking on g4 is minus 23, but king c2 is minus 25. And now the second line of the engine is to just give up the bishop. And that's it. Black's bot hunts down the white pawns. White's not... You think any human here doesn't take on d4? He's just not even taking on d4. Bishop here, king d4, fg, and now the pawn walks down. GG. The person playing with the black pieces was 38-5 in blitz. 38-5. Some of those blitz games could be disconnects or losing on purpose. But all of these individuals were banned. And this loop started from me losing this funny game. And I went to this person's profile just to watch them get their soul taken the game prior. And then, yeah, this person was clearly the villain of the day. I love watching when people who are cheating run into other cheaters. These games that they come up with, I mean, nothing compares to this position after something like 10 moves. Like, look at this. It's so bogus. Like, it's just so funny. These people don't realize how absurd they look when they cheat. And this all started yesterday with my game. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And cheater content is abound. There's cheaters every day in every place. So you know the drill, folks. Get out of here.